We have a ton of awesome Xbox news to talk about, so let's get into it. All right, guys, before we get into this, I see a lot of you are new here. If you enjoy this content, make sure to hit that subscribe button. So if you're a big Gears of War fan like I am, there is some very exciting news that came out yesterday, and it is that they are finally going to be expanding the Gears universe to hit the big screen, or I guess whatever screen that you watch Netflix on. As Netflix officially announced that Gears of War is going to be making its way out to a full featured film, to an animated series, and then other things potentially in the future. So here is what they said in the tweet. Gears of War was released 16 years ago today, and to mark the occasion, Netflix has partnered with the Coalition to adapt the Gears of War video game saga into a live action feature film, followed by an adult animated series with the potential for more stories to follow. So that's pretty exciting. I've read some of the Gears of War comics, and I absolutely love how those translate into the comic book version of the franchise. And I always thought that it was a perfect franchise to get some sort of TV or movie adaptation. So I'm extremely excited to see what they are going to do with this and when it comes out on Netflix. Honestly, out of the things that they have officially announced, which will be the full feature filmed and then the more adult-oriented animation, I'm more excited for the animation because of the fact that we've seen what's happened with Halo. I was not a big fan of the Halo TV series, and I find when they take these franchises and then they bring them over to a Netflix, to a Paramount Plus, or even to the big screen in the movie theaters, at times they try to take these franchises and then change them and make them appeal to more of a broad audience so they can make more money. And I think they really did that with the Halo TV show, which is why I wasn't a big fan of it. And maybe I will give it another chance in the future. I just don't like really what they did with Master Chief. I really wanted them to really stick to Master Chief as we know him within the video games, and they didn't go in that direction. They were appealing to not just the fans of the video games. They're trying to get more people all around who maybe have never even played a Halo game to watch the series. So when it comes to making a TV show about Gears of War, I'm hoping they don't do that. I really do hope that they stick to the franchise, the lore, and everything that makes that game so good when you're playing it on your consoles and on your PC. But when it comes to the animated side of things, I think that there's a lot more leeway, especially because they are saying here that it is going to be for mature audiences. So I think they're really going to stick to that really gory, dark stuff that Gears of War brings, some of the things that really makes the franchise enjoyable when you're playing through it. And then who knows what they are going to be doing with the more stories in the future. Maybe they will have spin-offs focusing on just one of the characters within the series. I'm guessing that the first stuff that they are going to be putting out is going to be covering Marcus Phoenix and then kind of going over Delta Squad and the members within that. I would love to see a spin-off one day of Coltrane. I think that would be such a cool thing. One of my favorite characters of all time within video games. So I'm pretty excited about it. I hope I'm not disappointed by the actual Netflix series. I hope they do it justice, and I hope that they stick to what Gears of War is. So we keep getting a brand new feature from Xbox that is actually going to allow you to adjust just how much power your Xbox uses by changing the actual effects on games, like the performance and the visuals. So a new survey on the PC version of the Xbox Insider app has asked players about energy efficiency. And one of the questions that they asked was the possibility of letting a game drop its performance in order to use less processing power and therefore cut energy usage. So the question says, in general, how would you feel about having in-game features that can optimize settings to save energy if you toggled them on? Then goes on to specify that game setting adjustments could be things like resolution, frame rate, visual effects, or GPU. And then says, in general, how would you feel about individual games automatically lowering frame rate or resolution when the game is left idle or inactive to save energy? And finally asks if players would be worried about turning on energy saving features, if that may negatively impact their gameplay experience. So that's cool. I mean, me personally, if they gave us that option where when your game is just sitting there for like maybe 15-20 minutes untouched, if it were to just toggle off some things so that you save money on energy, I'm all for that. However, if it comes to actually using these features within the game while you're playing it, I would absolutely never use them. I'll be completely honest. There's no way that I would want to turn on some energy saving features and then hurt the performance or frame rate of the games that I'm playing. I don't think many people would want to do that. When you're sitting down to play a video game, you're focused on playing that game. You want to have the best possible experience that you can get. You're probably not there thinking about how much energy you're using and how much you're going to have to pay for that energy on your next bill. But it's cool that Xbox is thinking about this stuff. If they, like I said, implement that toggle where idle games, reduce some features, saves you money, I'm all for it. And hopefully this will be something that gives people more options just in general of how they want to play their video games going forward. Is there any way to ramp up some of the stuff within the Xbox console in order to get more performance? We've seen Xbox make slight adjustments even for the Xbox Series S by giving developers more memory in order to make their games. As we saw this back in August, where this is a report here by The Verge that game development kits gave programmers more access to memory, freeing up hundreds of additional megabytes of RAM for their games. So Xbox is continuously looking on how they can improve the overall experience for gamers, for developers, and if this means giving them access to more resources, or even in this case that we were just talking about with the energy saving thing, is reducing resources to save the gamer money. All right, let's move over to an extremely exciting piece of news if this does come true. And that piece of news is that AEW Fight Forever, the upcoming first video game in the AEW franchise to hit consoles, is going to be coming to Xbox Game Pass. So we got this. Now, take this with a major grain of salt. We have no confirmation whether this is something that is true or not, but it is being reported here by this website called WrestleZone.com. And they are saying here, All Elite Wrestling's first console game had its first big reveal to the video game world back in August by publisher THQ Nordic. It won Best Sports and Racing Game Award at this year's Gamescom, or I guess Best Sports / Racing Game, because obviously it's not a racing game. But there is good news for the game on the horizon, because we know that this game was announced. It's supposed to be coming out in 2022. I still believe it says that it has a 2022 release date. We're in mid-November almost, so is that going to happen? Hard to tell, but it will be coming out, I would say, in at least in the next year or so. It looks like they're just trying to work out some final kinks for the game. But this person says that they have been informed as from numerous sources that AEW Fight Forever, when it is released, will be part of Xbox Game Pass on day one. So I think this is great news. I'm an AEW fan. I watch it every week, so I was going to be playing this game either way. When they've been showing off the gameplay, it looks like it is going to be a ton of fun, but I don't think this game was going to sell like crazy. And if they weren't going to sell like crazy, maybe they wouldn't be making a second game in the future if the sales didn't hit a certain target. And I think with this deal, if this does happen, if this rumor is true, it alleviates a lot of that stuff. They're going to get a bag of money to put this game into Xbox Game Pass, going to alleviate a lot of the marketing, going to alleviate a lot of the development costs, and you get access to the 25 million plus subscribers on Game Pass that maybe would have even not known this game was coming out or would have given it a chance. And we don't know, again, when this game is coming out. Who knows what's happening with like all of the contractual stuff with like CM Punk, because it looks like he's still on the cover. He's still the poster boy for this game. And if you know anything about what's going on with that situation, maybe that's holding up this game from being released. But I'm very excited, and I hope that it does come out soon. Maybe it's one of those big announcements that they're holding in for the second half of November Xbox Game Pass announcements. All right, and finally, to end things off for this video, let's talk about Final Fantasy 16. So Final Fantasy 16, we know, is a PlayStation 5 console exclusive. From what we understand, it is a timed exclusive, but the timed on the exclusivity isn't known yet. It seemingly keeps changing. At first, I thought it was like a 1-year thing, but comparing that to Final Fantasy 7, we thought that was a 1-year thing, and then it became a 2-year thing, and now it seems like Final Fantasy 7 Remake is a forever thing for the PlayStation console exclusivity. But Final Fantasy 16, there is no official timed exclusivity yet, but we got a trailer from PlayStation, and at the bottom, seems like we do finally have a confirmation of how long this thing is going to go. So this comes via a post from PlayStation. They were talking about the adaptive triggers and the DualSense controller and the haptic feedback and all of that type of stuff. And within this trailer, they go over a bunch of games. One of the games that is in there is Final Fantasy 16. You can see the fine print at the bottom, and it says Final Fantasy 16 anticipated summer 2023, PS5 exclusive for 6 months. Now, we don't know what that means. Does that mean that 6 months after it releases on PlayStation 5, it's going to be released to every other platform out there that the game is supposed to be coming out on? Or does that mean that after 6 months, it's going to be coming to PC and still not coming over to Xbox at all? And I feel like that's more likely what that 6 months means. I would be very surprised if Final Fantasy 16 does come onto Xbox after 6 months, because we just know what Square Enix and what PlayStation have been doing with some of their big Final Fantasy games over the last couple of years, particularly with Final Fantasy 7 Remake. We know that Sony is paying a lot of money to make sure that one of the most mainstream JRPGs in the West, which is huge in North America, will have huge numbers on Xbox, because it is a popular franchise. People love to claim that Xbox gamers don't play JRPGs, which I do not believe. We even are seeing the Xbox gamers take Persona up now as it entered Xbox Game Pass, and people on Xbox finally get to check it out. But Final Fantasy can't even be within that argument just because of how mainstream and popular it is in the West. So Final Fantasy 16 would sell like crazy on Xbox. PlayStation knows that. And in order to keep people from playing it on Xbox so that they have to go out and buy a PS5, they've been doing a lot of this timed exclusivity with Square Enix and Final Fantasy games. Here's hoping that the 6 months means that that's all Xbox gamers are going to have to wait in order to play this game. That's it for me, guys. Let me know your thoughts on Gears of War coming to Netflix, animation, TVs, movies, all that type of stuff. What are your thoughts on AEW Fight Forever? Are you excited for that game? Are you excited to see that's going to be coming to Xbox Game Pass? Are you interested in some more energy saving toggles on your Xbox? And Final Fantasy 16, do you think it will make its way over to Xbox in 6 months after its release? If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that thumbs up button. If you're new here and you liked what you saw, consider hitting that subscribe button. Thank you all for watching. Thank you for your support, and I'll catch you in the next video.
We'll be right back.